A few years ago, a budget phone meant there would be many sacrifices to deal with. Slow processor, poor screen quality, pixelated camera, and the list could go on. But recently, these so-called budget phones are looking a lot better than previous models. It's time to take a look at Samsung's attempt in this market with the 2016 Galaxy J7 on T-Mobile. Right out of the box, you're running Android 6.1 Marshmallow. But since I've had this phone for almost a full year, I'm on Android 7.0 Nougat. I've been using Nougat for about 4 months, and I have no complaints. The icons were refreshed, taking away the old cartoonish design, and you also have some smaller improvements like cleaner widget designs and more swiping options. Those include swiping down anywhere on the home screen to bring down the notification shade, and swiping up to bring up the app drawer. These are small but noticeable improvements, though one cannot always rely on getting software updates on time. Samsung has been lacking for many years when it comes to that. Inside the phone, you have a 1.5 GHz octa-core processor and 2 GB of DDR3 RAM. I find that performance is tolerable, but more graphic-intensive games like Asphalt 8 can take a very long time to load. RAM-wise, the phone isn't the greatest with managing the 2 GB that's on board. I'll often find myself only being able to keep open the basic apps like Spotify, YouTube, Chrome, and Dropbox. Most games and larger apps like Adobe Photoshop Mix fail to remain open in the background. I'm fine with slower app opening speeds, but the RAM can be a big issue when trying to multitask. Next, let's talk about the screen. The screen on the J7 is 5.5 inches and 720p, which I don't mind too much because it has an AMOLED panel too. Instead of LCD screens that turn on a backlight to show colors, Samsung's AMOLED panel can turn on each individual pixel, thus giving you deep and rich dark colors. Samsung also tends to oversaturate the screen, making the colors stand out with lots of vibrancy that other phones in this market are lacking. Where most budget phones in this class usually fall apart is with the camera. With this phone, it can be a mixed bag. In good conditions, photos turn out decent with saturated colors and sharp details, thanks to the phone having 13 megapixels on the rear. Other times, I repeatedly noticed that the sky in the background looked washed out and that there were dull colors. At night, expect to see the graininess and noise of most budget phones in this class. Moving to the selfie camera, you get a 5 megapixel shooter with a dedicated front-facing flash. Selfies are subpar and there's nothing to write home about, but it's nothing that isn't Instagram worthy. Rolling over to the video mode, you get 1080p video with balanced colors and a little bit of shakiness due to no optical image stabilization. If you use the camera for too long, then just know that your battery will drop a lot quicker. In my case, the battery life is better than I originally anticipated. With my mix of usage, consisting of web browsing, YouTube streaming, and Spotify listening, the battery would only drop 30 to 40% after about 2 hours. This is a phone that you can go all day with without having to worry about your battery dying. But when it comes time to charge up, just know that the J7 has no fast charging, meaning it will take 2 to 3 hours to charge from empty to full. Other features on this phone include support for Google Pay and an NFC reader. Another nice thing about this is that you can expand your base storage of 16 gigabytes with a micro SD card. But by far, the greatest thing about this phone is the build quality. Though the phone is made from plastic on the back, it feels high quality and doesn't flex or bend. Also, the weight gives the phone an upscale feel. But of course, the main part of a phone is how well it functions as a phone. For the past 10 months, call quality has been excellent through the earpiece. With T-Mobile, I've never dropped service unless I'm in a remote national park. The coverage is great for what I need out of my phone, which is making phone calls and texts in a city. At $250 though, the compromises with the camera and lack of fast charging make this phone a hard one to beat at the price point. But with more and more budget phones coming down in price and higher in quality, this mid-range phone might not make the cut into the market it wanted to be in. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Be sure to check out some of my other videos if you enjoyed this one. I'll see you next time on Tech Device News.